Let me switch over to my screen real quick. Again, today is Introduction to Reporting. Okay, here we go. So today, again, we're going to be talking about reporting, and when we go through the system, we're going to be, again, focusing on the banner tab, which is about reports. Again, ahead of time, again, this is the Zoom meeting information for today. If you need to invite anybody, here is the details. And again, all of our video trainings will be housed here on the YouTube channel that I'm holding all the videos from the past. For etiquette reasons, in order for everybody to hear, if you don't mind keeping muted, that'd be great. Again, the presentation is being recorded, so we will be able to share with staff that may not be present today on this training today. And if any questions you have, go ahead and mark note of those until the end. We will review when we get to the conclusion. When we see the Q&A slide for questions and comments, that is the conclusion of the presentation, just to give everybody a heads up on that. So an overview today, we are going to talk about the reporting and how there's three things that you'll see in reporting. Number one, you'll have filters, and then there's options and the ways you're going to sort the data. Like I mentioned before, reporting is pretty standard across ActiveNET. When you get into a report, you'll see that you can filter specific data that you want. Then there's also an option for a summary report where if you just want the numbers. We're going to also look at how general reporting differentiates from all the statistical reporting. Say that 5 times fast. Statistical reporting. General reporting versus statistical reporting. So we'll look at the differences in those. And we'll also show you at the end, after we go through the reports, we're going to talk about point of sale first, and then we'll go into memberships and to get to see how those reports are run. We will talk about the financial reports a little later in another webinar, because there was a lot here for just point of sale and mostly memberships. So we'll show you where to find those also at the end once we go through it. So the intro to reporting, if you remember correctly, the reports, you will see at the banner tab at the top that says reports. Now, when you click on that, you'll be able to go to the different options to run reports. And at the end, after we go through each of these sections, we'll show you, again, where they're located. We talked about, there was three things that are really important about reports. Number one, you have filters, which in filters, you're able to minimize what data you want it to output. And that examples like that could be the categories, maybe date-specific type data, the sessions that you may be in as far as like a spring, summer, fall. And then also as far as seasons too, you could do, if you have like a particular one for pool classes or pool lessons, we can put special filters on those to see the reports. You'll have the filters first, and then you'll have options. And the options part of it, again, you can customize them further, like what kind of column headings and fields you want to display in those reports. And then how do you want to sort that data? You can do it by packages, you can do it by certain date levels, or you can look at other options by either gender or, you name it. There's a lot of different fields you could sort the data by. So those are the three main things you're going to see on every single report engine, whether you could be memberships, point of sale, the daily reports, all of those things, you're going to see that all together. Again, in every part of ActiveNET reports, you're also going to see an output type, which again, the recommended is PDF. So on PDFs, you're going to, again, that'll be pretty much default. If you do want to go in and change it to like Excel, you can. And there's an Excel format which you can export out into the spreadsheet format, or comma separated values. If you're doing database type stuff and you're needing, in case we get ready to convert a lot of the materials from CenterEdge to ActiveNET, we'll probably be using some in a comma separated values format. So again, we have multiple ways that we can get the data. And again, this is very similar to what we already had in CenterEdge. You do have multiple types. Now you'll see on some of the reports there's a place where you can recall or schedule reports. Now recall, you will notice, is where you can save reporting templates, and then you can just update the dates and the filters. So it's one you can save, and then you can go back later on and use that same criteria and just update the fields. Now you can also schedule. Now this is another great feature for those that are getting reports on a daily basis. You can schedule a reporting template to be emailed to you regularly to a certain email address or multiple email addresses. So if you see this big old button, recall and schedule, you'll see that at the top usually of some of these reports. We'll see some in a little bit, but that's where if you do those, you can go back to one that's saved and then just update the fields and run it. Now, some of the things in the PO, like first, we're going to talk a little bit about the POS sales. It's going to be a little short one. Now, you look in here, there's some database, there's some data fields that are actually required in order to run a really good report. Again, in this POS report, you can run against sales, for instance, on the cafe at the summit. You can do a run of all the stuff that we've sold in a month's time, and you can actually do that. If you look up here, this is just a sample of what it looked like. You would again put the required, these highlighted fields again will also default to that workstation that you're at and help you. If it is at the cafe, it will default there and you can run a report with those fields. But those usually will pre-populate inside this here. And then you can also go in and set the date field of how long you want. If it is just a day, you can do it just like you see in the picture, or for a month time or a week time. Any of those, you can just update the form here and then you come down below. Now, also, in just kind of going back to what we said, the filters. When I talk about filters, you're going to see this all the time in any report field. This is, again, is your first choices you'll be able to make. Again, if you want to drill further into the reports, you can do so. And, again, it will allow you to do specific types of reports based on station, or if you want to do it as a whole, you can. But that's just, again, you can drill further on reports by doing the filter section. Now, again, we talk about options. Those options will be also at the bottom here. Now, you can, again, like they have in the arrow here, you can group things by several different ways, whether it's by product. If you have other different criteria, you can select from this drop-down box and then make that choice to run what you would like. When you see the summary report here, you will also know that you can just, if you just want the numbers specifically, again, that's in a lot of that case, that's where that comes in. It basically will make it, instead of a detailed portion that you'll have a bunch of pages, the summary report will, if you indicate it by that check, you will be able to run a report with basically like a one or a few page summary, just depending on how much data you're looking for, but it'll be a lot more concise. But again, kind of keep that in mind, though. The summary report is a nice option that you'll have across the board on ActiveNET that I've seen, and you're able to then, you can really simplify the data, how it's going to be outputted across when you run one of your fields, for the report. You're also going to see, again, the groups. You can also group things by, like we talked about the product here. So again, there's a couple other examples of departments. It could be, we have in departments, we also have listed with like admissions, merchandise. I mean, you can break those down into different ways, and you can see that, you'll see it broken down here in just a second. And again, this will also take, that summary report will allow you to take that away, and it will give you a lot better, cleaner report when you do it in the summary format. Now, you will also see here that this is kind of how those reports will look. And I'm going to turn on the highlighter real quick so you can see that you have the department here. You can see, again, they're broken down here by like concessions, merchandise. It'll break that down for you. If you have another case here, if you even further, you have your concessions. And then, again, for those, we broke down the products, your product we listed, as well as how many were sold. And then your amounts that you have sold as well will be here. But again, and then you can go back in and see what these final amounts. So the gross amount here, if anything was refunded back, you'll then see the net total of basically what is left after the refunds have been done. So your net total will be a very important thing, so you can have that number as well. So those, again, just to keep in mind, if you're doing a POS report, you can drill, and it gives a pretty nice format for these reports all the way through. So that's important too. So looking at those, again, this is POS sales report. This will be a pretty good one for those that want to keep up with merchandise, the cafe sales, things like that. This will break down that stuff very well. There's also one for a net revenue report. Now that one will be also very good. Is also date and time driven. Again, you'll find this under the financial reports. Again, we'll see that here in just a moment, and when we finalize the POS part of it. Again, you can find this in financial, then you can filter by the transaction dates and times on this to find out, your net revenue sales. Again, that summary report you see right here, very important there that you can get that information broken down into a more concise format. Very important to know. So again, you can see that too. Now also you'll again have to be able to, you can also show the subtotals too when you get into there. That's also very important as well. Now, here's a part where you can see the data report too. And on here, it gets down, you can see broke down by POS products. Like you see there, the baseball caps, beverages, drop-in. You have all of your sales, your general sales here in the POS side. And then you can see if there was discounts, any deposits done. And then, again, your net revenue right here, you can see the final amounts as well. So this really gets a real nice breakdown of, again, if there was anything else for, your revenue on a particular park or whatever, or if you're at the Summit or at the Epic, you can break that down by the site and see all of the products down below, and anything that was refunded too, you can see those things as well. So again, it gives you a nice breakdown of how the reports will look across the board. Like I said, I talk about how we review where these things are. Again, when you hit on the report part of it here, when you look at reports, you can click on reports, and then remember our navigation menus on the left-hand side, you have a bunch of different additional options for reports. Inventory is mostly where you'll see the POS reports. So you can then go into inventory reports, and like our POS sales, you can see those right here. And then net revenue, all of those are listed. And then inventory, you can kind of see a bunch of those different things and replace costs. There's some other areas you will find these, but overall, again, another place to drill multiple areas to see these things, you can go into the navigation menu and pull these reports just as well. So that's kind of giving you an idea of some of the general reports on POS side, and you can now you have a little idea where to go to run those reports. Okay, we're going to jump into membership reporting now. Again, we have a couple of different ways we're going to look at stuff. This is going to be kind of more the general reporting when it comes to memberships, and then also we'll share with you statistical reports. Now, again, there's 3 of these that we'll talk about in the general side that will give you a nice broad sense of what it looks like. So first, we're going to talk about membership by customer. Now, again, this is pretty much a listing. This is, again, just a list of customers that we separate by column for what package they hold. When you go into the membership side, you will then see this thing, again, standardize again, the filters, the options, and then if there is anything more to sort, that'll be down here. This one is mostly filters and options. So you can go in by package. You can specifically select the package you want to see by customer. You can also look at the membership expiration dates of when you wanted to be able to find out from this date too if they were a member here. And then if you want to go in further to see specific fields further, you can. You can do a little even further searching under these fields. We go back again, there's that summary report. You can make a concise report out of that. You then have all these other, again, options. That's why there are a lot of these are here. You can go in and check some of these if you want to eliminate some of these fields or add more customized options to your report. Again, they say show all the questions that the membership has, or you want to see date of birth or emails. You can, again, check these different options right here. So a lot of those are really, really important to see when you get down to finding out what you want. But again, filter is to drill deeper into the report. Options, again, gives you a wide array of different ways to see that report, see some of the other data. And again, you can check those all in here, and it'll give you a nice concise format at the end. Again, I know it's a little smudged, but I wanted to at least show you here that, again, this is what the membership by customer looks like. It's pretty straightforward. Again, you look at here and see the member name. Again, the package that they're in, the membership that they're in. You can see those different type things broken down, and then all of their general contact information, home phone. Also, their membership number. That can also be shown here as well. This could be a pretty effective report. And then again, when was the pass sold and how long does it go, and if it was suspended and when it expires. And if there's anything due on the account, it will also show. So again, these are very good reports that they have there. And again, ActiveNET has a ton of reports. There's a lot out there. We'll also look at in another presentation on what they call insights and active insights, and that's also where you can get more data. The ActiveNET has actually created a whole nother section that you can look at trends, and this actually it kind of builds on what these reports are, but it's also in a nicer format too that you can do graphs and stuff. So we'll look at some of those too in a later date. But just to know, these reports here give you lots of good stuff, but there's also more that you can do later on. So again, this is membership by customer. You now have that ability to then see just a listing of what the customer data here. Now we will look at membership by package. Now this again will be a list of customers that's also grouped by the membership package, and it will have the totals next to it. When you look at package, again, you look at your filters, you have all this stuff here that if you want to drill down, you can. Again, on the option side, they're really all similar things that you saw before. Now you also now have also a sort option here. Like I said, the other part of it was the sorting. You can also do a list. You can do a package by the list of the package and the customer name next to it. And this again will show you how that example looks. So memberships by package, you can again see you have the package name, again there, the member name, home phone, their pass, and then their sold and effective dates. It was sold on that date, it was effective when, expires this time, and if there's anything owed by the customer. So that gives you kind of a breakdown here. And for those, especially like the Epic, if you have your breakdown of family passes and the monthly, this is a good report to have. You can now see your family annuals. You can see the monthly passes. These are all very important to see too. So you can get, if you do have multiple packages that you need to see a breakout, this is a good report to have. But again, you can look at all of these different fields, and there's some very good data that you might need from that. But membership by packages is again summary. By using that summary, the summary total there, you can check on that, and that gives it a nice concise format for you. Again, memberships by package is another one that we have looked at. Now, we also have membership totals, and it will be those three are going to be kind of the general reporting in ActiveNET. Membership totals, you can list each offered membership, and then that package will show the total numbers. It'll show what the members are, if they transferred, and then the dollar amounts that go with those memberships. It will show all of that in this one report. When you look at these reports here, you will now find that this one is going to be, again, you can do a search by date and time. This will allow you to go ahead and put in the date in here from this date through this date. And if you wanted to do a specific site, you could put in the whole, you could put in the Epic, or you could put the Summit or any of our other locations. It wouldn't be a problem. You can bring those up. Now, very, very important, you can just get down to the options section on this report. You'll see right here in the values, you have a couple of options for you. Whether you want to run the report as members, as each member being counted as one unit, or if it's going to be a family plan, if that family membership will be counted as one unit. So again, an individual member versus a household member, depending on how you want to run it, that's where these come in. So you need to make a choice here on which packages you want to run. And again, you do have the part you can, whether if you want to have all the, as far as retiring, if you want all customers that are no longer in there, you can include that in there. And again, if you group that report by several different options in this drop-down menu, and then that output, whether you want it in the PDF format versus that Excel, all of those, that's where you would select that stuff. So that's also very important. So again, membership totals, this gives you that option. You have some options to work with, and then again, you can go in and update these. And again, you can save these reports too, like we said, that recall schedule, and you can go back to these and just update them. So if you need, you can, I think every account has the ability to have a favorites folder where you can save reports and go back and do those. And we can look at more of those later, but that is something I have seen is there's a favorites area where you can save reports of your custom life, and you can update the field anytime. Membership totals. And now you look at those, here's a really good example of what the membership totals report looks like. Again, you list the package name. You'll see that here listing all of our different memberships here. And then again on here, the active memberships. Now again, the active is based on when this period was run. Say for instance, it was June. So I think we went back in there and we said, if this said like June 1 through June 30th, you can then see that this active field would be based on the from and to dates in there. So again, you'll see active, but that's also for the amount of data field that you're going to be working with. So that's where that comes in. So you'll see active ones, you'll see the totals, and then again, how many were canceled, how many were renewed, the transferring between other types of memberships, you can see those in here too. And then you have your revenue side right here. You can then see how all of those sales will come in. If the renewals, what the renewal amount was, refunds that were done, and then again, transfers between the memberships and the dollar amounts. So you can see all of that coming through here. Again, you get the sales total right here. The differences between all of these sales right here will then become what this column of income is, the net income. Basically, gross sales down to net income after all is said and done. That's how all of this will show. It's a pretty good report. Again, you'll have, again, it breaks all these down, gives you totals at the bottom. So again, you're able to see, you can see the activity of the past is going on and the revenue side going on this one report. Pretty awesome. And again, you can customize those things again too. Just like you saw in here, you can change any of these fields if you like and, update them accordingly. Membership totals by package, another one you may want to keep in the archives on what, to use for, to be able to get some data that you need. Okay, so now we're going to look at the statistical side of it, the statistic reporting. We're going to now talk about membership statistics. Now in this case, a lot of these are kind of similar in a way, but they also do more just summaries of data and seeing trends too. The membership statistics, we list the customers. That's, again, a separate column of what package they hold. This one specifically is a date-driven one, so I'm going to show you what that entails. Again, you look at the filters. You can, again, break those down into particular areas. Now, looking down at the options section, again, you can group the report by a package category and a site, plus even gender. They have lots of different options inside here. You'll want to go in and take a look at some of these different types. And then you can group them either by last month, like year to end of last month, so, year end from, that one point up until last month, or you can do a custom one too, just like below. You can choose the date range of however you want to do that. So again, there's lots of options of how you want to run this report and how you want to group everything by. So keep that in mind. Again, there's a multiple path package. You can then determine whether or not you want to run by each member as one unit or each family plan or family household as one unit. That's where you have to make that choice there when it comes to running your reports. And then again, same things we saw before, how you want to, if you have retired stuff, you want all customers to be included and the out type and the output part of it as well. You can choose whatever format you want to show that in. Here's what the membership statistics plan will look at. So you're looking at, again, you have your packages here from that you did a search on. You're going to now look and see from here showing in this amount of period, and again, we looked at back and we did this period from June 1st to June 30th. Now, from that month period, we had 99, this shows how many members in this package. 99 of these expired, and then again, 80 new ones were created in that month. You'll also see here that the percentage change of that went down just a little bit. So again, that's where you're going to be able to see from the beginning of the period, this is where it started, where you ended up, and then again, you had some expired, but you also added some too, and that gives you kind of that breakdown. So again, you can kind of see those trends going back through when you run these reports. Again, statistics, this is, again, one that you can kind of look, by package and see how each of them are doing. So, again, membership statistics. This will give you, again, also shows you withdrawals, if anybody transferred, and anything that was suspended in those categories. So that will bring down. Really, really different from what CenterEdge has. ActiveNET is really more of a recreational software that breaks down how this is, how that really works. Because each of these now gives you some really good data, and again, these things tie a lot better, especially with family plans and individuals. They can be tied in a lot better than what CenterEdge was able to do. So I don't think CenterEdge was able to do that in that case for us. So in this case, you can now run all those reports. The next one we're going to look at is membership usage. Now this one, you'll get a list of customers, but it'll also be grouped by membership package with the totals. So we'll look at this one as well. In membership usage, you'll see you can break down, they really want to highlight that you can drill further into what package you want and then what category. So again, if there's a particular category of membership you want to drill on, you can do that. So again, you're able to then put in the date range of what these specific packages you want. You can put the from date through this date. And then also, if you remember correctly, we also have the entry point. Now, entry point in ActiveNET is defined as a place where, like a membership, like for instance, a door at your location at the summit, it was the athletic door, for instance, is an entry point. So we can drill and see what that entry point would look like, in this report. How many people are actually going through that part? And it will give us a lot more clear data when we scan a membership at the door. So again, this one is a good one if you want to get specific on locations where people are checking in their memberships. Entry point is a good one to remember. Again, highlighting here the summary report, as you can see, that's a very important. So you'll want to check that box there to get a concise report on this particular usage. And here's a really good example of how some of the group reporting by is. Now, again, these are very, very similar across the board. But you can see in here, you can do certain ones like day of the week, the day, week, and the time, member name, even the time of day that you want. And, comment one's a package, so you can kind of see that too. But we also can see group report by zip code. That's another one that was very interesting when I went through. So once we have real good data in the system, so that's why it's important. We look back to that first time we looked at this stuff. The integrity of the data is very important that we try to get all the information we can, because this is a very powerful resource when it comes to finding out where are people coming from, who's using our facilities. So you'll see that in here. You can use zip code too to group the report by. So again, it gives you a breakdown of how this stuff is. Again, this shows you group report up here. This again breaks it down for you how all of this looks, just to kind of give you a little more visual. Now you can look at this membership report, again, by a couple different ways. We talked about by the package. Now you'll see in here that you'll have the Senior Center membership. They list the package name in here. And then again, how many of these, how many entries that they had at these locations. Whether or not at the Senior Center for that membership, here's how many entries they had with that membership. And then as well as the annual package, the annual access, as well as you. So again, you can break those down and give you the final total up here, and total unique members right here. So 1783. So those again gives you a breakdown this way. You look at this side here. Then we talk about the entry point again. Now another great way to look at it. And then the entry point again. So at the summit we would have like athletic desk and front desk. Again, you would have, Epic would probably have their VIP area, or they would have, or at the front desk kiosk, or, the concierge or something. Those kind of entry points. Once you have a membership scanning station there, this is a great place to look for all of that, and you'll be able to see the different breakdowns of the entries here, and totaling up the percentage breakout of what that is out of the whole group. That gives you kind of another perspective visually of what all is going on here. But again, you can now look at the membership usage. Would be a really good one though for looking at it by these two different ways. How that package is doing as far as people coming, and you can see which one's working the best. Or you can look at it by who's entering it where, and you're seeing each of these breakdowns and how many people are entering at those places. Really good examples. These reports, again, are very, very helpful, I think, when it comes to seeing this data. And we will, again, when we get going, really ramping up with ActiveNET, it'll be once we get it, probably a year or so under our belt, even maybe 4 or 5 months, it'll be interesting to see how this stuff will go. So again, this is, again, membership usage. This will be one to, again, you want to probably archive. This is a pretty good one. We're going to look also at retention, the membership retention report. Again, this one will list each offered membership package, and then it will show those totals on the members as well as those transfers and the dollar amount, kind of similar to what we've seen on the other side. And again, when we look at retention, we think about which members have renewed over and over. They keep coming back. They're repeated business. Ones we really want the bread and butter, basically, of our business. So that's important to know on this report. Again, filters, you can look at the retention period. You can select that in here and go by the from and the to. So you can put the date range in. And you can look at in the options part of it, you can then see if you want to retain them in one package, a different package, any package. And we probably want to say any so we can see all of them. And then here's again the multiple pass packages, whether you want to count it as one member or one household member, a unit, a one household unit. So it's really, again, you making that decision there will be important. And again, don't even have to remind everybody, but again, you can see these parts here. You can change the options if you need to. It'll, again, default to a PDF. Now we look at the membership retention. Here's how it will look. Again, you will have the site name. Again, this will be everybody, which depending on which site you're going to be picking, and then the categories. And then you'll see each of the packages broke down by this. The retention level, this is what the original startup one was. Here's, again, the one that you want to see as retained. The bigger the number, the better that thing is going to do. And you'll want to keep that in mind. And this will give you some trends to seeing which membership is doing really well. You can look back at this data, again, at a certain time frame, and then get yourself a little bit more perspective on how these packages are doing. Another really good one to have. You also have membership cancellation reports, and again, they're pretty much straightforward on this. It gives you a way to filter out what memberships may have been canceled over time. Again, you can set a date range, you can pick the options, and then you can sort those packages out. So again, on here, the cancellation dates, you can look in and see what range you want to see cancellations from. You can, again, on the filters, you can drill down further if you need to. There's your summary report. You want to make sure that's checked. And then you can also check between these additional fields, whether, primary members, if you want to look at renewable packages only, or if you want to just include customers who become ineligible for the package at a certain age. So, those kind of things is another one. If you want to get further details and more stuff out of that report, you can choose those. Again, you'll see also, if you do want to continue adding more detail like the customer date of birth or an email or something along those lines, you can check these as well to add to your report. And then the sort options, you want to sort by customer name. So again, you'll be able to select that, and there's other options in there that you can choose if you want to change that. Now you have cancel membership report. Now you will also look in, and I'm going to go in just a little bit in here. So now you will see that we got the package name, and then the name of the pass, the member number, there's their name, and the passes. It'll show you also, again, when they were canceled, and then the reasoning as well. So if you needed to find out, you're trying to, try to get some of these members back. If you want to get them back, you can then kind of get this report and give you an idea of what was entered for them and why they canceled. This will give you a perspective on that. So again, you can see that all the way across here. And again, we'll tell you the day that it was canceled as well as that reason, because we'll have that available. Remember in the wizard when we went through, there was a place for that membership cancellation. There's where that comes into play, right in here. So that's important. So again, you will remember that. That's why it's important to make sure if there is something specific when it comes to a cancellation, make sure that's in there, because then we can run the report and see what actually happened. Very, very important here. Okay, so let me get back a little bit here. Okay, so again, membership cancellations, that's kind of how that one will look whenever you run the report. Oh, for the auto renewals. Okay, so membership auto renewals. Here's the one you can look this. You need to look for this one. Here it is. You can filter for the past expected draft or all of the auto renew dates, and then you can filter the ones that are showing rejected only. So you can look at these as well. And this field is pretty much as straightforward. Look for the dates that you want to run this by, and then you could show by the options that you either want only the ones that were rejected or other fields as well. You can drop down that menu and run that report that way. And everything else is the same as you can see. Like I say, very standardized. You'll see this way all the way across the board when it comes to running these reports. Okay, so we're getting near the end here. So we're going to, again, when you look at membership reports, again, the first three here, these first three are your regular ones you're going to be working with. Again, the totals report, the package, and then the customer. When you get down to the statistical ones, you're going to have these here. And again, you will find all of these in that navigation menu under membership reports. Pretty much every one of these are in here. And again, once you kind of get going through the ActiveNET trainer, you'll be able to kind of find some more of them in there, but they're mostly labeled under what they say they are. Most of the membership reports will be in here. Now, you will only find that once you do click on the banner tab here. When you click on that banner tab, it will bring up the membership reports, and as well as any other reports that are going on in any of the other areas. So reports will show all reports on the navigation menu. Very important to know. You won't find reports when you hit on, like, for instance, the customers. You won't see reports for customers in that section. You only see customer-related type stuff. And front desk, you won't really see a whole lot. When you get to the administrative, you'll see everything. But just know when you hit reports, you'll see all the reports that you can choose from in that navigation menu. All right, we're going to wrap up here. So what we looked again about, there's three main areas when it comes to reporting. Number one is the filters. Again, you can drill further into the report to get what you want, whether it's a package, whether it's a different category, you name it. All of those are in there. You can sort by drilling further. Options give you a whole nother perspective. You can add additional data, customer profile information like the date of birth, or, for instance, an email address. You can add those into a report. And then you have the sorting. When you get to sorting, you saw in there that you could drill further on sorting the stuff by packages, or it could be sorting it by a customer name. A lot of those are in there. Again, all of those are very standard across the board on ActiveNET. You'll see that there, and you'll see those in every report. Again, they're all of it standard across the board. Know this, you can filter the data specifically to what you want. That summary report, that one in the options section, you can choose that to make it more concise and just showing the numbers. Again, instead of having about 20-something pages of data, you can get it down to maybe 3 or 4, and that will give you a little bit more of a concise report if you need a report on something. And we looked again at that general reporting versus statistical, the three main reports that we talked about before. Again, the totals package, the POS is also in there too. The POS, the membership totals, package, and customer. And then you get down to statistical, we get, again, the statistics report, the usage, retention, cancellation, and auto renewal. All of those in there. There's a lot there, but they all also have a little bit different stuff in each of them. So kind of keep that in mind. And a lot of them really will come out well, I think, for certain reports you're looking for. And again, we just like we saw, we reviewed each of these areas of where they're at. Now, we didn't do a whole lot in the trainer today, but I do, because a lot of these reports really do take slides and kind of explain what they're doing. But we will look, again, when you're practicing, take a look at some of these reports and see how those are going to go. And in the end, that I think you'll really get to kind of see which ones will work for you in your certain areas. And again, when it comes to rentals, you'll be able to run rental reports too on the different groups that have come through as well. I know we haven't talked a whole lot yet on that, but rental reports will be in there too that we can see. Okay, we are now at questions and comments. So Again, if you have anything, please shoot away if you don't mind.